Welcome back to It's Okay Garage. Today we're going to be working on this 2007 Kia Spectra, and we're going to be doing the clutch and a brand new transmission. Well, new to us. So let's get that clutch thrown on and the transmission bolted up to the motor and get this thing slapped in. So we'll install the flywheel, and it says torque down to 65 to 80 foot-pounds. I'm probably just going to torque it down to 70 is what I'll do. We'll throw on that new clutch and pressure plate, and then we'll get that torqued down as well. So let's get this flywheel thrown on first. Now we got that flywheel all torqued down, let's get this clutch and pressure plate put on. And then when you put it on, I would hand tighten it pretty good and then back them off just so they sit on these dowels. And then you're gonna torque it down to 25 foot-pounds. I torque these down in a star pattern, makes it a little bit easier. And then you wanna make sure this can slide in and out fairly easy. And then let's get this transmission over here, and then we'll get that transmission mounted up. We're gonna put the transmission on the motor, bolt it up. Okay, I got the transmission all bolted up there. I'm gonna leave these two off. Put the starter on, it goes on right here, and then you got two longer bolts that come through this way. The wiring harness that comes on with the starter, it goes into these two top 17s. Those two 17s, that has a ground going to that one. Now that one has that clip over here to hold it up, the wiring harness. And you also got this clip that goes on this 14. And then you're gonna remove this one or put this 14 on with that bracket as well. Wrap these wires up over for the time being so that we can put the motor in. We're ready to install this engine and transmission back in. So just make sure you got everything tucked up. You're gonna basically install this motor halfway-ish, I would say, and then you're gonna bolt up the AC compressor. It just makes it easier to deal with the situation of it, because the AC is very challenging to put in when the motor's all the way in. Now you got this AC compressor mounted on with those 412s. Go ahead and get the belt all tightened as well. Now we're gonna lower it in and get the motor mounts on. After you get that AC compressor on as well, make sure you got this motor mount on and the one on the front. When you hook up the motor mount on this side, the driver's side, make sure you get these two come through the wheel well right there and there. And this one's all the way tight. This front one, we just got the bolt coming through tight, and then we'll put these two in. Also did this one. So now we will move underneath the car, get the motor mount back there mounted up, and while we're under there, we're gonna also bolt up this exhaust. Two nuts that come up, and then the one for the exhaust mount. We're gonna move on and put this power steering pump on. And then we're also gonna do the fuel rail. And while we're doing the fuel rail, we'll run and put this ground on, and then run the wires that go to that. Got that fuel rail on. Also plugged in all of these, got the ground hooked up, the power steering on. So let's move on to this side over here and start just plugging everything in where it goes. So first thing I'm gonna start off with is getting this clutch cables hooked up to the transmission and all the plugs in. And then I will do the coolant lines and then do the fuel rail last. Just want to get that all buttoned up. Another thing you need to keep in mind is you got this clip that slides into there, that this thing slides on onto here, your shifter linkage, and then go ahead and bolt that down. Also for the radiator, you're going to basically mount the AC part right here. There's 4 bolts on each side. Look like they're all going to be 10s. You're going to mount that to the radiator before you can actually mount the radiator in place. Essentially got everything plugged in into place back here besides this breather for the air box. Got all the plugs wire plugged in. All the clips are in. Came over here and wrapped them up into here. Got them plugged in over here as well. Now I just need to hook up the slave cylinder and get these plugs into here. And then we're ready for the air box. Pretty much got everything into place. Got this battery box bottom in place. Got the air box on and plugged in. We can throw the battery in and put that cover on, and put the cover on over the valve cover. But we're gonna jack it up, get underneath, and throw the CV axles in on both sides. Well, now that we got the CV axles put in, down here you got a 17, and that's your fill spot for the transmission. So make sure you top off your gear fluid, get your coolant in. Now we're good to start it. So let's get it started up. Now we got the transmission all filled up and everything. Let's get that hood on. Make sure you get all those fluids topped off. Thanks again for watching. We'll catch you in those next projects.